In this video, I will teach you why most relationships are unconscious and you cannot trust what your partner is saying because they are identified with their thoughts, their emotions, and their patterns. Most people in the world are identified with their thoughts, their patterns. They are just completely reactive to their emotions and thoughts and are like thrown around in life like a feather in the wind. And they saying as the excuse, oh, this is just how I am. I'm just a jealous person. I'm just a shy person. I'm just an ADHD person. I'm just a BPD person. I just have this astrology sign. But really what happens is they're reactive to their emotions and thoughts. So they are not the drivers of their lives. They are not the steerers of their ships. Their patterns are that they got from their past. So this means you cannot trust what most people in relationships say. You got to watch their behavior, watch their actions, so you understand why you and your partner are acting in this strange, toxic way. Let me give you a simple example. I have a client. He's around his 40s, has 2 children, and he's in a relationship with a woman. The problem here is that he's reactive to all the patterns of that woman in the relationship, and that woman is reactive to her patterns. And her pattern is that she's very insecure. If she thinks someone else gets attention from the man, from my client, then she will do anything to make him react, to get that attention back, even if it's threatening to leave him. She is so insecure that if he goes on a boat trip with his children and he doesn't text her for a while, she will erupt and text him things to start a fight, because at least if she starts a fight, she gets the attention back. And she knows that he has a fear of losing her. So she knows he's gonna react to the fear of losing her when she threatens him that she's going to leave. And then she blocks him and he starts writing her emails. But that's how she knows she gets his attention. She's so insecure. When she feels the attention is gone from her, she will do any fights. She will say anything to control that feeling that comes up in her body that she's completely identified with, the feeling of insecurity, to get again the control over the relationship. And she will also try to leave so she doesn't have to feel the betrayal that she probably has experienced in the past. So I'll give you guys another example, because these examples can give you like vivid visuals. Let's say there's a man and he wants to go to boys' night, right? But his woman, again, she doesn't like that he's going to go because she's scared that he doesn't give her the attention. So she, every time when he goes to boys' night, is starting a fight with him. Because he is scared to lose her, he's arguing back and trying to convince her, but now she got what she wanted. She got what she wanted. She got his attention, even if it's negative, even if it's a fight. So she doesn't care in her mind if it's positive or negative attention, because it's attention. She got his attention. And also, if he's angry, he's probably not going to pay attention to other women because he's paying attention to his phone. So it's another manipulative control mechanism that she does. So by him reacting to the negativity, he actually trains her to bring him more negativity. Do you guys see that? So you guys might think, okay, this is smart. So I'm not gonna give her attention when she's negative. I'm only gonna give her attention when she's positive. Which, by the way, is like training an animal. And it literally works with human beings who are identified with their thoughts and emotions, because they don't use their conscious power of cognitive diffusion, of differentiating themselves with their patterns, and instead acting on their values independently from their patterns, which if they over time would act independently of their patterns, only based on their values, even though those patterns try to pull them in, the brain, because it's a very efficient organ, will over time drop the patterns because you're making them inactive. That's actually how you heal trauma. You don't heal trauma, you make it inactive. So yes, you can have a manipulative relationship like that when people are identified with their patterns, because as soon as you trigger with them at their patterns, they are going to move in a direction that you can manipulate them in. But that will be a very unfulfilling relationship. And most of you and most people are attracted to partners based on their patterns. So they're not attracted based on real love. They are attracted based on their trauma patterns. So the love that you think that you have right now, even about your ex or someone else, most likely it's not love, it's emotional addiction. And that emotional addiction, you are mistaking that from love, because it's also a very strong pull. That emotional addiction is such a strong pull, and you're like, no, if I feel this strongly, I must love them. That's not true. Most relationships are two people trying to suck feelings out of each other because they don't know anything else. But that is not a true loving relationship. A true loving relationship are two people who care about each other and love each other independently of their emotional patterns. So even if you have a feeling of anger or jealousy or hurt or anxiety, you still do actions of love for your partner because you're acting based on values. Because also, if you're acting based on these reactive patterns, you are feeding the patterns, and those patterns get bigger, and the emotional addiction gets bigger. But if you change, and it starts with you, it so starts with you. If you start changing, to change your brain from the emotional addictive engine to the valued action engine, you literally change your brain to be attracted to different people. I used to be attracted to toxic relationships, toxic women, and now I'm only attracted to people who care about me and who align with my values. And some are like, oh no, I don't want to be attracted to people who I'm not attracted to. You will be. I am attracted to them. You will be attracted to healthy relationships. Right now, you're not even really attracted based on love. You are attracted based on patterns, based on emotional addiction. It's literally an addiction like any other addiction. And because it's an addiction, it warps your reality. Because even in addition, you spend so much time in your head ruminating, obsessing, that your brain blows an avalanche of thoughts at you, and it totally confuses your reality, and you don't see straight anymore, plus the avalanche of emotions. So you're just being a reactive mess. You're basically under a spell, under a love spell, emotional addiction spell. So what you have to understand is it literally starts with you. It's not about tricks that some gurus and coaches give you. Oh, I help you to get your ex back. Oh, I help you to make the partner that you're with in the toxic relationship love you. That's the dumbest advice you can take, because you're still acting from the reactive patterns. And literally, even you trying to get them back or trying to make someone love you comes from a low self-worth. You're chasing validation in another person. You're chasing happiness in another person. You have to become your own person. You have to become your own authority. You have to become the person that's number one, taking care of you, instead of looking at someone else where you chase happiness. When you become the person that lives based on your values outside of your head, mindfully, because even if you live based on your values, but you still reacting to the patterns inside of your head, you're still feeding the algorithm the patterns. So you want to mindfully act on your values outside of your head. And if you become that person, you change everything for you. You will change your brain, and you will change your entire perspective. You cannot even see yourself like how you're going to be once you change. You only see yourself from your current state, and you even only see the future from that current state. But I'm telling you, when you gradually over time change your brain, then you will see yourself in a different way, you will be attracted to different people, and you will see the world in a different way. I can speak from experience. So it starts with you stopping the reactivity to your own emotions, to your own thoughts. And even if you're in a relationship, you might be, like my client, totally reactive to someone else's psychology, which is you giving your total power away. You're not only giving your power away to your own brain when you're reactive to your emotions and thoughts, you giving the power away to some random person's brain that has a whole different psychology, that has a whole tons of patterns that they're identified with. You cannot trust people who are identified with their patterns, who are reactive to emotions and thoughts, who don't live a life based on values. They will always leave you based on those patterns. They will always treat you bad based on those patterns. You cannot trust them. You can only trust people who live based on values. It's a moment-to-moment process. And I'm telling you guys, if you watch all these YouTube videos about these tricks and these tips, and I'm giving you these fast things, you are wasting your time. You're literally wasting your time. You think you're getting a shortcut, but by trying to get the shortcut, you're wasting far more of your time, and you go from self-help addiction to self-help addiction, where these gurus are telling you, yes, I have this amazing technique, you just have to think this way, you just have to use these affirmations, you have to just say a million times, I love you in the mirror. It's nonsense. That's not the brain's language. The brain's language is behavior inside and outside of your head. What you're doing with your focus inside and outside of your head. And right now, you're really reactive with your focus to your thoughts and emotions. So the brain is just giving you more reactivity. You get more emotionally weak instead of being emotionally fit, and you're losing yourself in the relationship. So you need to see this as a step-by-step process where you start in the beginning of the day proactively, because you're changing from being reactively to being proactively setting the valued actions, right? And focusing mindfully as much as you can. It's a moment-to-moment practice. There will be minutes, maybe even sometimes 20 minutes where you just, in your mind, oh no, I was in my mind. Okay, no, outside my head. I'm going to the gym. I'm building my business. And then also in relationships, you have to condense it down to actions, right? You have to condense the relationships down to actions. What actions of love do you want to give to yourself, to the relationship with yourself, and what actions of love do you want to give to the relationships with others? Because then you cannot be manipulated by patterns or other people. Because even if other people are trying to make you guilty by telling you you're not a good boyfriend or girlfriend, the feeling of guilt comes up and you say, this is what I coach a lot of my clients on. Oh, I can have this feeling of guilt. Okay, did I do my valued actions? Did I do the actions of love that I wanted to give to myself and that I wanted to give to my partner or my children? Or okay, yes, I did. Okay, then I can have this feeling of guilt and I'm going to the gym, or I'm playing chess, or I'm doing whatever I want to spend my time on, no matter how much they scream, because you did the values, right? And you look at it. For example, I have a lot of clients with children. Actions of love would be, for example, driving them to soccer practice, or to martial arts, or making them food, right? Or telling them a bedtime story. You set up those actions for that are most impactful, right? You want to start, you want to have a measurement. What are most impactful for you and the children? But you cannot only live for other people, of course, because maybe you need like a Sunday, a few hours here and there for meditation, for your hobby, etc. And then when you're on the boat, like my client, with your children, right, enjoying your day, but the jealous girlfriend who wants always attention is like, you spend too much time, right? It's already a red flag, which happened to a few of my clients when the girlfriend I can't even say this. I'm gonna say this because they're anonymous, but when the girlfriend is trying to find out through the kids about what the guy is doing, like that manipulative, right? You shouldn't even want to be with that person, because your kids should be like the most important person, the people, right? Or they don't want to hang out with the kids. So your value should be, oh, my kids are the most important people to me, right? Humans, little humans, or bigger if they grew a little bit, right? Because humans grow. If my partner doesn't want to hang out with them, that's not my partner. Bye, you know? But in emotional addictions, a lot of people lose themselves, and then the problem is you also neglect your children, which is messed up, all right? So that's why we want to get you out of the emotional addiction. And you can only get out of the emotional addiction if you start this practice. And you don't have to be perfect, but you want to take up more territory. If you want more support, I do coaching. My coaching, one-on-one coaching, a lot of people cannot afford it. I also have group coaching. Guess what? I also have group coaching. There's so many resources. But yeah, invest in yourself. What do you want to invest more in? Emotionally addictive relationships or in yourself? Because I'm telling you, do you want to waste your life on an emotional addiction? Or do you want to live your life independently based on your values, and you want to be attracted to people based on your values, and you want to be a person who gives to yourself and to others instead of trying to take? Takers are the worst people in life, okay? They will always look for, what can I get, 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 all right? What can I get out? It's transactional. What can I get out of this relationship? Nowadays, most relationships are so transactional. What can I get, what can I get? Gimme, 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 gimme. Those are the worst people to be with, right? People love me so much because I gave so much on the internet. I give, and of course it gives something to me. I love making videos. I love making videos. But I'm always like thinking, oh, well, how can I give more value? Before this video, literally when I was sitting here, I was not just getting into this video. I was sitting in the beginning and thinking. Maybe we'll have a clip of me like here thinking, right? And a lot of times, today I didn't have the time. I take like hours and hours of notes on my phone for you guys to give more value, right? To be more specific. But I was sitting here earlier and I was like, okay, what is the most impactful video I can make? And I was literally not starting the video until I was ready. Because I want to put in that effort, that energy, and you want to put that energy in living your life. Because most people are only brainwashing you to believe that, oh yeah, you need to fix your anxiety, you need to fix your thoughts. Guess what? Listen to me now clearly. If you are trying to fix your thoughts, if you are trying to fix your emotions, then your brain is like, oh, you love fixing thoughts? You love fixing emotions? That's your favorite hobby? Because that's what I see you doing inside and outside of your head. Oh, let me give you more excessive anxiety and obsessive thoughts to fix. That's why your initial reaction to try to find someone to help you fix these things and get rid of these things is false, and you have to learn that. And most people are trying to pull you in. Most of these gurus are trying to pull you in by saying, yes, I'll help you fix these things, right? And sometimes, even when because sometimes when you don't watch my videos, I have to speak your language because you didn't watch my videos yet, so you have been brainwashed by society to believe that fixing emotions and trying to, when an emotion comes up, it's wrong. If you make an emotion wrong, guess what? You're putting resistance on it. So society has taught you to make anxiety, whatever emotion comes up that you feel uncomfortable, that's a problem. We need to go to a therapist. We need to fix it. We need to find a technique. That reaction is actually making it more excessive because the brain's like, oh, you're reacting to this, you want to play with this, and it will give you more. So what is the point that I wanted to go back to? Yes, so sometimes, because you don't know this, what I'm explaining you right now, I have to literally make descriptions or video titles in a way to speak your language, because you wouldn't even click on my videos unless you know what I'm teaching you right now, which most people don't teach this. There's a rare amount of people that teach this. So I have to pick you up on your language, right? It's not necessarily your fault because you got brainwashed by society. Society is completely brainwashed when it comes to the mental health industry is completely, it's getting a little bit better, of course, right? We making it better. There's creators like me who make it better and expose the lies. And it's good that when I explain these things, it's logical to you. When I explain you the brain is an algorithm, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. The more I spend time on these thoughts, the more they come. The more I try to fix these emotions and try to get relief from them, it never gets better, right? The more we expose it, it gets better, but the most mental health industry is still full of nonsense, right? So all these therapists, listen to me, when these therapists put their certificate on the wall, oh, I'm a talk therapist, I'm telling you, their education is so laughable. It's so laughable. They don't know what to do once they meet you and you trust them because they have a certificate, but they never changed their brain. They have never changed their brain themselves. Trust people who have done the things you want to do, right? I changed my brain. There's many teachers out there who changed, and there's also probably therapists. There's also therapists who changed their brain. But go to people who change their brain. These people, most of these therapists have not changed. That's like, they have not changed their brain. That's like going to a fat fitness trainer. It's going to a fitness trainer who read all the books about fitness, but never squatted, never bench pressed, never did a pull-up, never did calf raises. Like, would you trust them? And aside of that, the books even that the therapists read, a lot of times they're false. So don't believe people, don't be brainwashed by titles and certificates. Look at two things. Did these people do what they said they do, and then their values and their character, right? Are you getting along with them, of course, when you're working with them? And I want to give you some practical tips. You want to make these patterns inactive, which means you want to start in the beginning of the day, because if you start your day with these patterns, with the compulsions, with the rumination, with checking the phone when you're jealous, with checking the phone for text messages, with being reactive to social media, because the brain's holistic. When you're reactive to your emotions and thoughts, that's the same as being reactive to social media. You're still feeding the same patterns. You're starting your day with compulsions. And then your brain's like, oh, you love doing compulsions all day? Let me give you more. And you keep training it. So instead, you want to proactively set the valued actions that you want to do and spend time outside of your head. And don't make those actions feeling-based, reactive based on feelings. So when the brain says, we don't feel like getting out of bed right away, you're like, that's okay, I can have this feeling and I go out of bed and meditate now. And then make valued actions easy to do and bring resistance to compulsions. Give you an example. Have your meditation place set up, have your chair. Next to the meditation place, have a journal. You sit down, do the meditation for 15 minutes, right? You have the journal for the thankfulness journal right next to you immediately to celebrate your valued actions. Oh, I'm so proud of myself that I already meditated. Oh, I'm so proud that I'm already doing the thankfulness journal, right? But you have the journal next to you. This is so important to have the journal next to you because it's less resistance. It's easier for you to do the valued action of journaling. Look at it opposite. If you didn't even have a journal, which would be the worst, right? You would have to go buy it. It's way more resistance. If your journal is in another room, you might get up and then you think, oh, what's on my phone? Or you're hungry, and then you forget about it, about journaling. So make it easy, the valued actions. Make it hard, the compulsions. Hard, the compulsions might be, usually when you wake up, you grab the phone. Automatically, so to say. It's not automatic. You can train yourself to not do that. But let's say you put the phone in another room. It's harder to grab the phone, and you can like catch yourself and be like, oh yeah, that's right. Don't check the phone. Do the meditation. You guys get it? All right, if you want to get deeper into these tools, I have literally things for all of you at any budget, okay? If you want free YouTube videos, watch my free YouTube videos, right? If you want these tools that I'm talking about to break your patterns, to build emotional fitness, learn mindfulness, meditation, literally step by step in my book with animations to show you visually how these things work. Beautiful animations. I made literally 70% of the animations myself. In my book, you can get my book also in the description. If you want more support, you can do one-on-one coaching, right? With me. You can also go to the description where you can message me, and you can do group coaching with my beautiful community that you guys probably already know about on School, where you can do group coaching where I posted a lot of results. You guys, I always show proof. I learned this from Alex Hormozi, just always show proof for people having the success. Also, one of my coaches, Lara, she works for me. She used to be my client. She used to have panic attacks, anxiety, toxic relationships, OCD. She recovered from all of it, okay? Through my coaching. We did coaching like 3 years ago, I think, for a year or so, or a year and a half. And then she wanted to become a coach. Now she works for me as a coach, and she's amazing. So she's actually another support in the coaching community. During the week, she supports you guys to support you with the valued actions, changing your brain, building emotional fitness, and I do all the calls. So you can have the calmness, I guess, to know that I do all the calls. I'm with you on the calls. When you watch videos like this, apply what you learn. Don't just use it as a self-help addiction, all right? I love you guys.